Alrighty, howdy doody, everybody. Um, yeah, so this is gonna be the Ashe guide and other things League of Legend, i.e. laning phases, creep scores, how to last hit a minion, etc., gameplay basics, strategies, Dragon Baron, the whole hoopla, and all of that. But before we start, I need the music, the inspirational music. Hold on here. Alright, let's turn that down. Minimize that. Minimize that. Alright, yeah, just a warning here. I'm using one program right now to stream the desktop and everything like that, just to talk about Ashe. But I will be switching to an Xfire broadcast just because the one I'm using right now lags me a whole lot. So there will be two videos. Deal with it, I guess. It's gonna be a really good guide otherwise. So let's start out with. I think that's still really loud. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. So first off, there's a couple things you gotta know about Ashe when you're playing her. You have to know her major weakness, which is how slow she moves. She is very slow. I mean, she's possibly one of the slowest attack damage carries next to Varus. And that's something you have to watch out for, especially in the early levels when you're dealing with ganks and other AD carries or attack damage carries. And all of you guys should know these acronyms, or start getting to know these acronyms now. If you guys have been looking at Metal's guide about that stuff, that's like her really major weakness that I can see in her. Other than that, she's pretty strong for an attack damage carry. She's not as viable in Season 3 in my opinion. She doesn't get used a whole lot, so it's kind of a preference. I mean, she's still strong AD carry, don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't know if she's as versatile as other AD carries in Season 3. Anyway, in case you guys don't know what Season 3 is, that is what League of Legends, the MLG stuff is in right now. They're in Season 3 of the LCS, the League Championship Series and all that. They usually do major changes before seasons, and so there's a lot of changes before this season, and right now we're in what's called Season 3. Anyway, the other thing you gotta know when playing Ashe is her strengths. She has a lot of kiting ability, meaning she has a lot of slows. I mean, 3 out of her 4 abilities grant her a slow, which is actually really nice, especially if you're kiting around tanks who are trying to burst you down really fast and kill you before you can do any damage to the other team, the enemy team. So I mean, her kit, like her whole arsenal, just works really well with her. I think it just kind of all meshes well together. Yeah, and that's also great for chasing down enemies too. I mean, don't get me wrong. Besides that, getting away, chasing them down is just as important. So actually, let's move on to the abilities next. Her passive ability is called Focus, and what it does is she gains critical strike chance every 3 seconds, or 1 every 1 second. I don't know why they just didn't say that, because that's essentially what it is. But when this reaches 100, you automatically gain a critical strike attack on your basic attack, which is really nice. So I usually say this to hit a champion at level 1, which deals a lot more than you think, especially when you stack runes and masteries and attack damage and stuff like that. But we'll talk masteries and runes later, or in a few minutes here. So that's her passive. It's pretty good early on. I mean, you don't really notice it later, until you like start stacking AP, or not AP, but start stacking critical strike chance, such as like Infinity Edge and stuff. Other than that, you don't really notice it later in the game. I mean, you mainly notice it in like the first few levels. Moving on, her Q ability is a cross shot. The thing you gotta keep in mind when using this is it drains your mana, so don't have this on all the time. Like, don't have it on when you're just killing minions. If you're gonna chase an enemy champion, you can turn it on. But every time you shoot an arrow with this thing on, it drains your mana. So you just got to watch out for that. I mean, the other thing to know about this ability is that it slows her targets down, which is also really nice for chasing. So, and this ability only works on her basic attacks. That's why it's a activated ability. So when you activate it, your basic attacks become slowing attacks. But like I said, it does drain your mana, so something to keep out for. Her next ability is Volley. Besides the arrow, her ultimate, I mean, this is one of her stronger abilities. Basically what it does is just fires 7 arrows out in a cone in front of her. And the thing about this is that it applies slow. So, and if you notice, the volley applies the slow equal to the current level of your frost shot. So if you go back to frost shot, it slows your targets. So whatever level your frost shot is the amount of slow it's going to give for your volley. And typically, it doesn't really matter what level your frost shot is. It's still a really nice amount of slow. So usually what you want to do on Ashe is max this ability first. After you know, max this before all other abilities, I would say. It's her, one of her strongest tools in her arsenal. Moving on is a nice kind of like ability just for Ashe, really. What it does is two things. It has a passive, meaning it happens without you activating it. And what it does is it grants you gold for every minion you kill. So let's say you kill a minion. If you have level 1 in this, it will get you +1 gold. So therefore, when it reaches level 5, you'll get +5 gold for every minion you kill. I would recommend leveling this last, actually. So maybe pick it up at level 4, just so you can start getting more gold. Other than that, though, I wouldn't typically max this one first. Your ultimate is actually really nice. It's a slow, a stun, a global ult, really. And what global ult means is you can cast it anywhere on the map, as long as you hit a champion. And that's the key thing about this ult, is it has to hit a champion. Otherwise, it just misses entirely. So you can't hit Baron with it, you can't hit Dragon. You can only hit a champion. It will go through minions like that. So that's something to keep in mind when you're using it. Make sure you have a good shot on the on the target you're trying to hit, because you don't want to miss. I mean, it does have a really nice stun and slow to it. So this is her biggest CC in her arsenal, crowd control. It's actually a really huge arrow too. I'll show you it when I play the game with her. It'll just be a bot game, nothing too special, because I just really want to show you the mechanics of last hitting, really. Because that's actually a big part of like the early part of the game, instead of getting kills, even though it might seem like it. So that's her arsenal, that's her kit. I'd recommend picking, this up at 6, 11, and 16. And then, as far as abilities go, when you start out the game, you want to level volley up first, and then your Q ability, and then your hawk shot. I mean, obviously you want to pick up your ultimate whenever you get it, but if you don't have your ultimate, you usually want to prioritize volley first. So that's her abilities. I'll move on to her masteries now. And keep in mind that everyone's playstyle is different, so you don't have to exactly follow these masteries, but in general, these are actually really good to have as far as Ashe goes, or just any attack damage carry in general. I prefer a 21, 9, and 0 mastery set. Obviously, I'm not level 30 yet on this account, so I don't have 9 points in defense, but I can tell you what you would want to get anyway. So, looking at the 21 in the offense, you want to get Fury, which grants, at max level, it grants +4 attack speed. Then you want to get Deadliness, which grants +12 attack damage at level 18. Then Weapon Expertise, which is actually a really nice talent, especially with Season 3 now, and the way that armor penetration works. So you ignore 8% of the target's armor, which is actually turning out to be really nice, especially in the early levels. Havoc, which increases damage by 2%. Lethality, +5% critical strike damage. This is for ranged. If you get it for melee, it's +10. but don't worry about that because Ashe is range, so you're only gonna get +5 critical strike damage anyway. And all of these abilities that I'm telling you, you should max them out. Don't just put 1 point into them. So the next one is Brute Force, and that just grants you +3 more attack damage. Frenzy grants 10% attack speed for 2 seconds after landing a critical hit, which is actually becoming a lot more useful now. Sunder grants +5 armor pen. Also, like I said, kind of like weapon expertise, a really nice ability. And then, kind of like the end all be all talent for offense is Executioner. And what it does is it increases the damage dealt by 5% to targets below 50% health. And that's actually a really big jump. And it's actually a really nice ability. It's actually a really strong talent to have. So I mean, I recommend getting it as soon as you get that 21st point, just putting it into that Executioner. It's really nice. I think it's awesome. For the 9 points in defense that you have left after you hit level 30, or when you hit level 30, and make sure obviously you're putting points into all of this as you go. Don't just wait till level 30 and then put all your points in. It's not really worth it. I mean, then the talent points just kind of get useless if you're just waiting till level 30, because then you're not getting all these bonuses as you level up. So what you want to go as 4 points in durability, which grants you +6 health per level. So at level 18 you get 108 health, which is really nice for survivability in lane. And what survivability, and by survivability I mean like how long can you stay in lane, how long can you last without dying or taking a lot of damage. And this actually helps a lot with that. Next is hardiness. Being in the bottom lane and facing other attack damage carries, the +5 armor, especially at level 1, is a nice bonus. So I recommend maxing this. And then just for the purposes of jungling, whoever the enemy jungle is, I recommend 1 point into resistance, which grants you +2 magic resist. And I mean, having extra defenses in general is just really nice, because you never know when you're going to get ganked from the jungle, the enemy jungler, and things like that. So just having more defense is actually really nice. Then your final one should be Veteran Scars, which grants you +30 health. And when you think about it, +30 health is actually really nice, especially at level 1. That's actually a huge bonus. Just think about it in terms of money. That's like a lot of money right there, just for +36 health if you had both durability and Veteran Scars maxed. At level 1, +36 health is huge. That's a lot more survivability in lane, a lot more durability. I mean, just a lot more overall staying alive against the attack damage carry. So that's what I think you guys should be running. Again, everyone's playstyle is different, so you can obviously change it if you want to. So moving on to runes, I know I don't have them all filled out, but I just kind of filled them in with the general runes that I think you should get. As far as attack, well, not attack damage, but marks go, you should be getting a greater mark of the attack damage. What this does is it basically grants you +1 attack damage. It's 0.95, but it rounds up, essentially. And when you think about it, if you have 9 of these plus 0.95s, that's essentially getting 9 more attack damage at level 1, which is really strong when you compare it with your masteries. So at level 1, instead of having maybe like 48 attack damage as a base stat, you can have like +62 with both talents and runes, which is really strong at level 1. And if you use a critical strike, if you use your passive ability with that, that is a lot of damage on that one auto attack on an enemy champion at level 1. So just keep that in mind. Seals, the yellow ones, you should be getting Seal of Armor. Again, this grants you +1.41 armor. So again, what this means is more survivability in lane against their attack damage carry. 9 of these is essentially like 10 armor or 11 armor, which is really nice at level 1. And just think, this is what is needed to survive. This and the glyphs that I'm going to show you next is really for survivability, because you can get kills without stacking AD. So don't worry about stacking attack damage. And the other thing about runes that I forgot to mention before we even talked about this is don't buy runes until you're level 20 at least, because buying runes before you're level 20 is just a waste of IP. Because at level 20 you can unlock tier 3 runes, which are, in my opinion, infinitely better. So save your IP for when you hit level 20. That is my pearl of wisdom for this video. Although, in hindsight, all of these are pearls of wisdom, if I'm not mistaken. Just kidding. Take what you will. Again, everyone's playstyle is different, so. Glyphs. I prefer a 6-3. What that means is I get 6 greater glyphs of magic resist, which grants you plus 1.34 magic resistance. So, you know, that's roughly, you know, 7, 8 magic resistance at level 1. And then what I do for the other 3 glyphs is get a greater glyph of scaling magic resistance, which grants you magic resistance as you level up. And again, that's just more for survivability. As a tech damage carry, you want to survive a long time in lane. You don't want to end up dying and giving first blood or something like that. So survivability is key. I mean, I would almost prefer that than stacking attack damage, runes, and seals and glyphs. So don't just stack attack damage, get the defense. It's gonna help you out in the long run, trust me. As far as quintessences go, it's a long word, I can't say it, bear with me. As far as quints go, I'll just say that they're quints from now on. Get attack damage quints. I know what you must be saying, you just told me to get defense runes. Well, you want quints that give you attack damage. You can only get 3 of them. You know, you get 1 per every 10 levels, so you can only get 3. And having that extra, you know, 6 attack damage at level 1 with your red runes, your red marks here, is a nice 15 more attack damage plus masteries. So just keep that in mind. I mean, this rune page is mainly built for damage and defense, which is great. So I recommend you use this. Again, you don't have to if you don't want to. It's just a it's just a recommendation. Just what I recommend for a build guide. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Go AP for all I care. I mean, you probably won't do very well in games, but hey, if it floats your boat, then it floats your boat. So I guess the only thing now is to see. We got the abilities done. We got the runes. We got the masteries. Her weaknesses. Her strengths. So that's all I can tell you before we actually get into game and I stop this portion of the stream and reconnect on Xfire. If you guys have any questions about any of the stuff that I talked about in this stream, make sure you post comments or find me on TeamSpeak or Xfire or Skype. For those of you that have Skype, or find me on Steam. I think those are the 4 that you can reach me at pretty easily. Or if those of you who have my number, text me. Or if I'm on League, just message me. So that's 6 sources you can find me at really easily. I mean, I'm on pretty much every night on League anyway, pretty much every night. So without further ado, I'm going to stop this stream actually and move over to Xfire and start teaching basics on laning phases, Dragon, Baron. When is a good time to do those 2 things, Dragon and Baron? When is a good time to team fight? When do you want to team fight? How you should team fight? The three stages of the game. How to CS, or how to last hit minions is what it's also known as. Item builds. Yeah, so I'll see you in the second half of this stream, or yeah, so I'll see you guys in the second half of the stream. Post comments, like I said. It's always helpful to get feedback and things like that. So I will see you in a couple minutes.